Hey guys, my name's Robert and Ingrid here as we're about to end into the end of Edgar Wright's three-flavor Cornetto Trilogy with The World's End. It's been a while since I've seen this one. It's the lesser known of the trilogy.
I certainly didn't know anything about it
And
beforehand.
from what I do recall, the characters are don't have as many redeeming qualities, except for Nick Frost's character.
Ah,
Yeah, he's the only one that's actually a decent guy. I can tell you this about Simon Pegg's character. This is the biggest asshole he's going to be.
ah.
But we'll see you. We'll find out. Again, I could be wrong, but we'll see you on the other end. Hey guys, Robert and Ingrid here, and it not a bad movie. Better than I thought.
Better than expected.
It started off bad.
Yeah.
Really painful cringe, especially with Simon Pegg as Gary King. You tell people how bad he was.
Basically, this was a guy who peaked with pub crawling sometime in the 1990s, and his whole ambition is to get the gang back together through some
Shady.
less than honest means, and so he can kind of relive that and, more importantly, go back and finish it.
He had to skim money from one of them to pay one of them back. He lied about his mom being dead. Things like that. Now, I'll say so. Nick Frost definitely was stealing the show in this, wasn't he?
Yeah. big time.
As Andy.
Oh,
who-
yes.
I mean, all of them were good, but I think the funny thing is Andy and another character, Steve, are the real heroes.
Yeah.
Until again with Gary. Gary kind of roller coasters throughout this, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, he was kind of the catalyst that got everything going.
Which almost bit him in the butt.
Well, yeah.
But basically they go back to the small town to do the Green Mile, which
The
is
Golden Mile.
Golden Mile. Basically, I thought it was about the movie Green Mile. The
Oh.
Golden Mile. Basically, 12 pubs, and they would all go there and get a shot. And last time they did, they only went up to 10. If I remember, was it 10? No, was it 10 or 9?
I think it was 10, yeah.
Yeah, and basically they decided, and they never finished it. Now, apparently, we later find out, or should we reveal now or reveal later why he was with a group? I think reveal that later. Reveal that later.
Later.
But yeah, he was in a group. You think it's AA. That's what you think it is. You think it's AA, and everybody's like, but hey, life was good. That was my peak. And then one guy had to ask, but you never got to the world's end. And that's when he realized, oh shit, I never finished my life. Now, then that's going to be one of those cases of you leave a town, a small town, and then when you come back, everyone seems to change. But what if they didn't change? And what if but you think, oh, the town didn't change, I changed. What if they did change? What if they were replaced by robots?
Not robots.
Right.
Plants.
Robot means slave, and they're not slaves.
Yeah.
That's a running gag. But yeah, basically, you have all 5 of them go there. You have Gary, Andy, Steve, Oliver, and Peter. And then we meet up with Oliver's sister, Sam, who I liked her too, didn't you?
She was pretty good, yeah.
But once they're there, they get through a good number of the pubs. They get up to like, what, 4 or 5 before things really start turning? And then then when he goes into the bathroom and everything, he gets into a fight with a kid and knocks his head off, revealing, well, the blanks.
Oh, yeah.
And before that point, we were annoyed.
Yeah, I was kind of doing a lot of shit talking up until that point, but then it's just
Then you're like,
that hard swerve.
I know.
It's just like,
I remember you were just like, okay.
yeah, that was right out of nowhere.
And but it builds. We don't know what's going on right away. We just know there's these robots. We don't know how they work. Although we didn't realize something's off when Oliver starts going from, I'm going to go to the bathroom to
Yep.
all smiles and everything. And you realize he got replaced. And they meet up with Sam again. And like I said, the action in this movie is better than the others. It doesn't top the climax of Hot Fuzz, but it's better
I feel like it was more consistently good throughout the whole thing.
Yeah, and it's the most non-realistic of the action.
They
Everyone's able to
decided
just
to go fully over the top with this.
I mean, okay, I could buy with Andy's. Clearly, Andy's been portrayed as he was a wrestler or a boxer, right? Because a lot of his maneuvers he was pulling. But the fact that everyone was able to get in just like, that felt a little
out there, yeah.
exactly. But then tell them about what the blanks plan is. What is the point of the blanks?
Well, as it turns out, they're part of a wider intergalactic network that has taken over several planets, and their strategy is to kind of plant these various things at key penetration points, as they describe it, so that they can bring other people into their ideology.
And they said, the fewer they need to convert, the more of a success it is. Mm-hmm. And basically...
But the problem is that it's kind of a benevolence that goes too far.
Basically, they're like, well, it's basically they're like, join us. If you don't, you're compost, you're mulch. Mm-hmm. Boy, that was a shocker to find out that's what happened to them.
Yeah, especially after we got told by a guy called Basil, who was kind of a fantastic little...
Played by David Bradley, who would be the first Doctor eventually, which makes it more ironic. Mm-hmm. Oh, hey, Nick Frost was actually a producer on the movie.
Oh, that's awesome.
That explains a lot. Yeah, and that's the funny thing. Throughout Andy is all like, you son of a bitch. You know, he's like probably the one least likely not to want to be there. Mm-hmm. And we find out about what this, and we keep on hearing about this accent. Mm-hmm. It turns out the accent was, he used him, lied about being injured, get into an accident, and then he buggered off and left him. Mm-hmm. I wouldn't blame him either, would you?
Not really, no.
But eventually, once they find all this out, and then basically they decide, like, F it, let's get out of here. But then Gary, he can't help himself. Now, first we were groaning. We were like, he's self-destructing. And he still is throughout a lot of it. Mm-hmm. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, I'm not necessarily going to deny that.
He was so self-destructing, especially once they got, and I do like it, they got to get to the Tense Pub, because they had to get through there to get to their car, the Beast. And I just love it. First, he's just like, because beforehand, we were just thinking that we were groaning about him still wanting to continue on.
Yeah.
But that was I think that was the switching point, wouldn't you say, for our feelings on Gary?
Yeah.
Up until that point, we thought he was the load.
Yeah.
But he said, 10 pubs, ain't bad. Mm-hmm. You felt bad for him then. It's just like, didn't you? It's just like, but then he booked it. And that's when you realize he came that far.
Yeah.
Would you, if you were on a raid or doing a D&D campaign and you guys got so far in it and then you realize it's almost suicidal?
There's sort of reaches a certain point in a big combat encounter that's gone south where it's just like...
We can either back up now or, like, no one else has gotten this far. You know? It's that whole type of thing. But, and sure enough, he eventually makes it to World's End.
Mm-hmm. And as I kind of predicted midway through, it turns out it's the headquarters of the network. And then we get to hear...
Well, first we get a fight between Andy and Gary. And that's when Gary calls on. This is where we find out Gary tried to commit suicide. Mm-hmm. That's where he was. And that's when you're like, oh.
He had really fallen down that far.
He's like, it's all I have.
Mm-hmm.
And I welled up. I didn't cry.
That performance made me well up too.
Yeah, because it's just like, he nailed it. Mm-hmm. This guy we first saw, fuck you. Much like Andy and the others did. Mm-hmm. Where it's like, oh. Like, it made everything make sense, and that was great acting. Mm-hmm. If anyone else probably wouldn't have gotten it. You would have been like, oh, cry me a river, bitch.
Yeah, but it's just like the actual performance behind it really made you feel it.
You feel that pain. Especially once he, again, lifted up and you realize he booked it. Mm-hmm. He wasn't let go. Mm-hmm. He ran. Yeah. That's clearly what happened. Why else would he still have that on him, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, then we find out the network. And what do? They basically tell the network to fuck off.
Yes, and it's just like, they get to see like the three of them.
But how they do it though, they basically point out, okay, how many people in the town that you have to replace? How many people are human? I am, but I don't know for how much longer. That's Basil. And then basically makes the point of like, that tells you the hypocrisy of it all, right?
Yeah.
This would have been a failure. This was going to be a failure of a planet for them.
Yeah, it's just like, is that what you consider an acceptable amount of loss? Wow.
Exactly. And then basically saying, you can't handle it. I just love it. Eventually, like, you know what? We're long. Fuck it. Mm-hmm. But that was awesome, though, just hearing them. Yeah. Because they're calling out, and yet you understand what the network is going for, but we're basically like, I would be like that, I'd be like, we don't want this.
Yeah, it's just like...
You're basically saying, even if we get replaced, you're basically saying we're not going to be, humanity's not going to be humanity.
Yeah.
That's basically what it's saying, right? Humanity is not going to be humanity. It's going to be the network.
Yeah.
No one on Earth is going to want that. So basically, like, yeah, fucking, they leave, but they end up knocking out all the power, leading to literally the world's end.
At least as we know it.
It's the end of the world as we know it. And I gotta say that ending went a little long, but not too long. It stopped right at the right moment.
Yeah.
Go on, I've been saying a bit more. Like, what else did you think about with this movie? Like we said, it's the weakest of the trilogy, but not by a lot.
Yeah, it definitely wound up bulking up by the end. It just sort of very much felt like, okay, what is the human experience in a lot of ways? And it's just like, one of the key parts is that it's not perfect. As much as that we would like
to
it to
err
be
is human.
Perfect. Yep, to err is human.
And to forgive is divine.
Yeah.
I love that. And again,
And I feel like the epilogue was kind of important to establish that even though the world as they knew it ended, humanity survived. They managed to find ways to carry on even in the midst of that. And I feel like that kind of bookends Shaun of the Dead in this trilogy.
Definitely very well. And Gary, he even says like water. And he's willing to defend the blanks that are with him. Why? Because they're on an adventure. That was good too. And again, overall, I get what they were going for. I wish they trimmed a lot at the beginning. I mean, I get it was needed to a degree. Oh, wait, I just read Martin Freeman as Oliver after he got replaced. And Pierce Brosnan as the teacher.
Oh, yeah.
Especially Brosnan, he's just like, he really nailed this creepy sport. And then Bill Nye, he has the voice of the network. But I think Brosnan did a lot better at selling it than Nye he did.
That's fair. I feel like because he could get more personally under their skin.
And it's Brosnan, that charming voice. I almost feel like he could sell you on this more than Nye. Not saying that Nye he couldn't, but at the same time, the way he did, he was just so frustrated and flustered.
Yeah. It's like you got so caught up in your own worldview that you couldn't necessarily understand anyone objecting to it.
And I'll be honest, I wasn't a fan of saying that Earth is the most unorganized, lowest ranking in the galaxy. I'm just like, of course. But still, though, it was still interesting. And then, yeah, the blanks would reactivate after the network left. And yeah, they were persecuted. I don't blame them.
Yeah.
That's the case where you wouldn't blame the persecution, would you?
Yeah, I mean, it's just like, they're an unfortunate reminder of, more or less, an invading alien force that took away the real ones and turned them into mulch.
And that was the scariest part when you realize, and I love that, even Gary like, mulch?
Yeah.
And that's when you find out about what, and then you'll be like, don't ask what happened to the empties. I felt bad. I mean, that Oliver and Pete, Pete. Dealing with that bully.
Oh,
boy, did that go nowhere.
Yeah.
But still, just like, he got mulched. You're just like, oh.
That's unfortunate.
Sam, I like Sam.
Sam was very good.
In fact, that was actually the other point. When Sam, I tell you about it wasn't when they got to 10. It's when Gary talked to Sam.
Oh, yeah.
That was the turning point when she's basically saying, like, it was the all and best. It didn't have to be. Again, a weak start. Very weak, very cringy start. But a fantastic from once the action started, it didn't stop.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we give this an 8 out of 10, which I realize not as good as Guardians of it, but still one of our better ranking trilogies.
Yeah.
But next time we still got one more movie or a little thing with Scott Pilgrim versus the World. And I even got the books with me. We'll see you guys then. Take care.